Hey guys, Mary Tully here from Tully's Training. I am here to talk to you about training and exercising your Pitbull. So this week is Pitbull week. We are doing videos on Pitbulls all week long, and today the topic that I have to talk to you about is exercising and training. So a lot of the ideas that I wanted to cover, I realized we already covered a couple of weeks ago when we did an entire blog post about Pitbulls, and then we talked about it. So if you haven't checked that video out, definitely go back and watch it. So I thought today instead I would just give you some quick, more specific tips on things that you can start doing with your dog this week that will hopefully improve their quality of life and help them to stay out of trouble, because at the end of the day, that's really the main point, is to just keep our dogs from getting themselves into trouble. So I've broken it down into 3 categories. We're going to be talking about play, we're going to be talking about exercise, and we're going to be talking about feeding. So we're going to start with feeding. So the first specific tip that I have for you guys today is I want you 3 or 4 times a week to start feeding your dog out of a specific toy. So everybody talks about feeding your dog out of puzzle toys, but one of the really important parts of feeding your dog out of a puzzle toy is you don't want to feed them out of the same one every single day, because then it's not enrichment, it's just as boring as the bowl. So you want to have a few different kinds of puzzle toys that work in a few different ways. We have a really awesome blog post about puzzle toys on our website, tullystraining.com. But today I want to talk to you specifically about a toy called the Tux. I actually have one. So the Tux is a toy that's made by a company called Paw Design. I have 2. And if you aren't familiar with that company, you need to familiarize yourself with them because they are awesome. And one of the best parts about them is their toys that they make are basically indestructible. So here's one that I have. And besides the fact that it's a little dirty, do you see one dent or nick on this toy? I've had this for 3 years. And this is the dog that's been chewing on it. He's not so small. And here's another one. These toys are super, super durable. As you can see, they have a hole in the center. So you get a few of them, you take your dog's breakfast or their dinner, stuff it in the Tux, freeze it, and are you gonna demonstrate? Oh, he loves his Tux. And it works the same way that a Kong does, but it's just something that's a little bit different. The shape's different, the texture's different, and so they're gonna have to use different techniques to get the food out. Bada bing, bada boom, mental enrichment. So the Tux, which is a Paw Design toy, 3 or 4 times a week, you're gonna feed your dog out of that. The other idea about feeding your dog that's specific is go ahead a couple of times a week also and feed your dog via training session, but specifically I want you to work on your stay at the front door. So that's a behavior that we teach a lot of people that have pits, staying at the front door. It's something that a lot of dogs really benefit from. So, but a lot of times after we teach our dogs how to stay at the front door and the behavior gets to a point where we can use it, we stop reinforcing it. So it's really important, especially with behaviors that are more challenging. Are you having the best time? Which one are you gonna take? Oh my goodness. To periodically go back, retrain those behaviors, make sure they're getting heavily reinforced so that way they stay fun for our dogs and they stay interesting. So for this next week, 3 or 4 times a week, you're gonna feed your dog out of the Tux, and 3 or 4 times a week, you're gonna have them earn an entire meal via training session that's gonna be working on stay at the front door. All right, next we're gonna talk about play. Whenever you have a pit bull, especially a young pit bull, I recommend that they have really structured play sessions, just because play is so reinforcing for them, and a lot of times that's where they can kind of get themselves into trouble because they're very enthusiastic. So if you can reinforce them using good impulse control with play, it's just a really, really great thing to kind of work with them on all the time. So one specific idea that I have in regards to that is if you have your dog playing with another dog and you're not at a dog park, but you are maybe in a park where there's a couple of dogs around, or you're at a friend's house, or you have a friend with their dog over at your place, you can work on this behavior. Did you trip a little bit? So you don't want to do this at a dog park. Let me just reiterate that specifically. But you are going to work on a recall when your dog is playing with another dog. So the idea is your dog is playing, they're having a really good time, the play is really nice. You don't want to necessarily do this if the play is getting a little too intense. at the beginning. So, and then you have some really high quality food with you. So hot dogs, chicken, bacon, something really special that your dog does not get all the time. And every few minutes, call your dog to you. If they leave the other dog and stop playing and come, then they get rewarded by the really high value treat. And then you're gonna ask them to sit. If they can sit and give you their attention properly, then release them so they can go back to their game. So they learn that when they listen to you, really good stuff happens. And they also learn the quicker they listen, the faster they're gonna get to go back and continue playing, which is all most pits want to do. Play, play, play. So the last category I want to talk to you guys about is exercise. I think every pit should be getting at least 30 minutes of exercise twice a day. If you have a pit bull or any breed of dog and your dog is giving you a lot of trouble, they're having trouble with training, they're chewing things up, they're being really naughty, then you probably aren't giving them enough exercise. So you always want to kind of use increasing exercise as your first line of defense whenever you're dealing with any training or behavioral issue. But what I want you to do with your dog differently this week, Kai, you're just bumping into me, is one time a week, I want you to start taking your dog somewhere new. It doesn't have to be anywhere crazy. It can be to a different park. It could be to Home Depot. It could be to, a farm. It doesn't have to be anywhere crazy. You can incorporate your dog into your day-to-day life and take them somewhere that you're already going. But sometimes with our dogs, we get into these habits of just kind of, they always go to the same park on the same day, or they always walk the same route in our neighborhood, or they only play in the backyard and they don't really even go on walks at all. And that can cause a lot of problems. So we need to make sure that we're constantly socializing our dogs to new environments and new people and new animals, that we're getting them out into the world as much as possible. It really makes a huge difference in their quality of life. And when your dog is happy and they're behaving, you are much happier. So those are the tips that I wanted to give you guys today. I hope that helps, and I really hope that you're able to use some of them and that they increase your quality of life as well as your dog's. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a great day.